Welcome back to the coziest part of Solana's finest podcast, Sol Brothers. Markets, prices, charts, and technical analysis. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about Solana. I'm going to share my screen. If you watch this on YouTube, make sure to leave us a subscribe and like the video, and also drop a comment what you think is going to happen next in the markets. Are we going to see another top, or are we going down? Because if we're going down, then we're going to head into a small bear market potentially. And I want to talk mainly in today's episode here about one indicator that is highly underrated and super useful. It is the relative strength index, the RSI. And the RSI on the weekly Bitcoin chart right now is sitting at 38. What the fuck does that mean? The RSI tells you if an asset is oversold or overbought in the market. There's a range between 70 and 30 on the RSI chart. If the price stays in that range, it is usually neutral. If we are above 70, it's overbought, and below 30, it's oversold. So far in the history of Bitcoin, we have seen the price touching below the 30 RSI in the weekly chart only 3 times in the whole history of Bitcoin, only 3 times. And that was in 2015, that was in 2018, and that was in 2022. I don't think we're going to see it now dip below the 30 RSI. There would be bear market. That would be sub 70,000 Bitcoin, pretty sure, to reach that low of an RSI. I don't think we're there yet because there's just too many bullish news right now in the world, not only for Solana, but also for Bitcoin and for crypto overall. The US government just talked about the Bitcoin treasury again and how much Bitcoin they want to accumulate, 5% of the total supply. There's a case against that, by the way. I don't know if we want them to have so much Bitcoin, but that's a different story. But the mere fact that they talk about this, insane. I think there was the gathering of the Saudi government together with Trump, and I think it must have been the crown prince or one higher official in the Saudi government, and he was referring to Kalshi, a crypto prediction market, on stage when he was talking about his outfit because people were betting what he was wearing. So like these things are being adopted, that's what I'm saying. And crypto is going mainstream and ETFs are out and institutions are buying, and I don't even have to give you the full story here. But RSI below 30, I don't think so. On the daily chart though, and I'm staying with Bitcoin for another 2 minutes here. On the daily chart, the RSI dipped below 30 in the current pullback here. And let's just do a little analysis of what happened whenever Bitcoin did that. Last time we dipped under 30 was here on February this year when we saw a bigger pullback. The price chart made a low. The RSI made a significant low. The price chart made 2 more lower lows and 2 higher lows on the RSI. That is a bullish divergence on the chart, right? On the RSI versus the price chart. And TLDR of the scenario, after we saw the dip below 30 RSI, Bitcoin went up again. In this case, it took about 2 weeks, right? Or actually, yeah, it took almost a month to really get that move up again. So that was quite long. Looking back in 2024, August, RSI made a low below 30. We saw no other low, but we basically saw a retest of almost of that same region, but the RSI was higher. Again, bullish divergence and price move up significantly. Before that, same thing, RSI broke through, 1 more dip, price move up. Let's do 1 more. We went back to 2023. The price made a low. The RSI made a significant low. We're all the way down here at 1819, heavily oversold. There was quite a drop here from 30K Bitcoin to 25K. And then price stayed low in confusion for a while, but RSI kept going higher. And we saw a big pump, right? So price went up again. I could do this over and over in the history of Bitcoin. And the essence of what I'm saying is that every time Bitcoin is tapping into the oversold territory of the RSI, it would be almost stupid to not open a spot position. And that is no financial advice. That is simply me calling people stupid if they don't open a spot position when Bitcoin dips below 30 RSI. Because historically, it has been going up after either one more low or directly. I don't know that. Actually, I don't know nothing. But one thing I know for sure, though, is that Bitcoin did that in the past. I can only report on historical data here. So we saw that break between the 30 RSI here already on the chart. The trend line here has been broken a little bit, but RSI also stopped right there to decline further. Bitcoin ended at 88,700. Is the low in? I don't know. I will take the lower time frame of the Solana price to show you why I don't know yet. Because we right now completed the three-wave move to the downside here. Only 3 waves so far on the Solana chart. Let's see on the 1 hour chart, maybe it's a bit more visible. So basically what happened is we did a 1, a 2, and now we did the 3 right here. Okay, that's the 3 in brackets if you are having the visual in front of you as well. So down here, we ended at $128, $129. Also, by the way, RSI oversold and bullish divergence. That's a different story, but that also happened right now on the Solana chart. And after the third wave comes the exactly fourth wave. So we're going up right now again in a fourth wave, and a fourth wave correction usually happens in a 3-wave move. So there would be an A, B, and a C. The B wave can overshoot, doesn't have to overshoot. It did not overshoot, but it almost retested before. It got stopped out at the 0.886 fib level, which also keeps the yellow scenario alive, which would mean that there's a chance right now to actually turn around from here, because we see a 1 in yellow, a 2, and a 3. We need to go a bit higher than that right now. And we would need to see a retest of the 1, maybe, so the pullback in the 4. And then we would need to see a breakthrough this level here of the third wave. And then I could basically reduce the probability of one more low significantly. But we would have to see this play out in that way, how I beautifully drew right now on the chart. If we don't see that, if we go down from here, then the red scenario stays more feasible, which is right now the case. That would mean we're going down in one more leg right now. After the ABC, we're going down into the fifth wave. And the fifth wave would break below the 128.7, and it would end maybe somewhere in the range, maybe 123. Why 123? Because that is actually the extension for the C wave here, if I'm not mistaken. There's so much going on these charts, but I think, yeah, that should be the extension of the C wave that we're tracking from the A, B, C. That is the larger correction that I'm tracking here, that started all the way up here on $250, A, B, C, down to the downside. And the C wave, the 100% extension of the C wave is at $123. So it doesn't sound too unrealistic that we see actually one more low on the chart, which would bring us approximately that level. And then from there, we could turn around. Probably Bitcoin would also print one more low then. That would also mean we have the chance for either a higher high on the RSI or maybe one more significant break below it. It is what it is. I can't help you more than that with the facts at hand. I hope it helps a little bit to clarify where we are in the markets, and it helps you to make better trading decisions, or no at all. That is also totally fine, because right now it is not easy to trade. We don't have the total kind of, we don't have a good confirmation yet that the low is in. Let's put it that way. But we know for sure that we are in an oversold territory with a fear and greed and index below 15. I'm pretty sure it's still there. With an RSI that has been broken under 30 on the Bitcoin chart. So everything is pointing to, a scenario where an opportunity might arise. And if you don't think Bitcoin is going to zero, then right now could be actually a good chance to tap in whatever asset you want to buy. But that is up to you. No financial advice. As always, I hope it helps a little bit. Make sure to also check our other videos on our YouTube account, because we are giving you Solana news and updates, macro news and updates, and exciting interviews with builders in the space. So head over to our YouTube account, leave a subscribe, and like this video as well, because it helps the algorithm to show these clips to more people and onboard them to Solana. That's the mission. Join the mission. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one. Peace out.